Bastion Market Daily Live Forex Market Outlook by Trader Plateau. Introduction. The purpose of the market outlook is for us all to have an elite mastery of the forex market to an advanced level. The forex market is a decentralized market that runs 24/7 from Mondays to Fridays. It has a market capitalization of approximately $8 trillion daily. Dominant and non-dominant market participants. At the top and in the middle of the hierarchy, we have the dominant market participants. That is the central banks and the large financial institutions. At the bottom, we have the non-dominant market participants. Those are the retail traders. In a nutshell, the dominant market participants make up of 95% of the market participants, while the remaining 5% are the non-dominant market participants. Those are the retail traders. This is according to research and data from the Bank of International Settlement, the Bank for Central Banks. Mechanics. Market mechanics is a unique hybrid trading strategy that utilizes technical and fundamental constants to generate accurate trading signals. Power of 3 AMD chronological order. On Fridays, we have the accumulation phase. On Mondays, we have the manipulation phase. On Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, we have the distribution phase. Therefore, we do not trade on Fridays and Mondays, as these are the accumulation and manipulation phase of the market. Power of 3 AMD chronological order. The Asian session is the accumulation phase, the London session is the manipulation phase, and the New York session is the distribution phase. So we do not trade the Asian session, as this is the accumulation phase, but we are allowed to trade the London session since it sometimes overlaps with the New York session. Power of 3 candlestick pattern order. Unique candlestick reveal mass psychology that symbolizes the power of 3, the accumulation, manipulation, and distribution. Below are the images of the candlestick showcasing the mass psychology and movement of the market. We have the bullish and the bearish candlestick patterns. Liquidity and trap zones. All the market concerns about is liquidity and nothing else. Liquidity is basically points in the chart where majority of orders are pending to be filled. Thus, liquidity is the energy of the market. Without liquidity, the market will not move. These zones are as follows: yearly high and low, monthly high and low, weekly high and low, daily high and low, swing high and low. Yeah, welcome to the chart. On today's market outlook, as we know in the market mechanics, we look out for liquidity zones. These are zones that offer the best opportunities. There are zones that offer the highest risk to reward on a trade, and there are zones that offer the less risk per trade. So as we know, we look out for liquidity and trap zones, which are the daily highs and lows, swing highs and lows, weekly highs and lows, monthly highs and lows, quarterly highs and lows, and yearly highs and lows. So right here on USD/JPY, today is a good day to trade, as most market participants have a positive sentiment towards the market. So right here on USD/JPY, we can see the market printing out a bullish candle here, and we can see that the buyers are strong in this zone, and the second half you can see the buyers attempting to push price up. However, they fail to break the high of Monday. Following from this, we expect a manipulation to the upside, manipulating more buyers to take position, and the candle should close down as a bearish candle with either one or two candles, break the low of the day and push further down. Then we can conclude that the US dollar will weaken against the Japanese yen. On USD/CHF, at the opening of the Asian session, we can also see the buyers in this zone, and the second half you can see the buyers pushing price further up. Following from this, we expect a more manipulation to the upside, manipulating buyers to take position, and the candle should close as a bearish candle to the downside, breaking the structure, breaking the low of the day. Then we can conclude that the US dollar will weaken further against the Swiss franc. On AUD/JPY, at the opening of the Asian session, we can see A classic AMD playing out an accumulation here, a manipulation and a distribution to the upside. However, this is a weak support and later in the day we expect this support, in my opinion, to be broken. However, here we have a sell side liquidity for a buy. For that to happen, the low of the day has to be raided to induce more sellers, and this price has to close up as a bullish candle with either one or two breaking the high of the day and moving further. Then we can conclude that the Aussie will strengthen against the Japanese yen. We need to keep in mind that the market sells to buy and the market buys to sell. Why does the market do this? The market does this because forex trading is a zero-sum game, and for the buyers to make money, they need to take money away from the sellers. GBP/USD, do this analysis on your own. If you have been following us for a while, you should be able to do an analysis on your own with confidence and clarity. Here we help traders to see the market clearly as well as attempting to gain a directional bias for the day. On Euro USD, we can see price in a sell candle, and the second half we can see price selling further down. Following from this, we expect a sell to buy, so we expect the low of the day to be broken by the London Open to induce more sellers to take position, and the candle should close up as a bullish candle, breaking this structure and breaking the high of the day. Then we can conclude that the euro will strengthen against the US dollar. On AUD USD, we can see the sellers in the first half of the Asian session. You can see the buyers in the first half of the Asian session, and the second half you can see the sellers. However, for this to complete as an accumulation, manipulation and distribution, we expect this is a sell side liquidity for a buy, so we expect the low of the day to be broken to induce more sellers, and for this candle to close up as a bullish candle with either one or two candles to grab liquidity further, and we can conclude that the Aussie will strengthen further up. On NZD USD, we can see the sellers in this zone, and the second half the buyers attempt to push price up. However, the sellers continue to dominate and push price further down. Following from this, we expect a sell to buy, so we expect the low of the day to be raided to induce more sellers, and price should close up as a bullish candle with either one or two candles breaking the high of the day. Then we can conclude that the New Zealand dollar will strengthen against the US dollar. On USD CAD, at the opening we can see the buyers in this zone, and the second half we can see the sellers attempting to push price down. However, the buyers tussle and maintain their dominance, pushing price further up. Following from this, we expect a buy to sell, and for that to occur we expect the high of the day to be broken to induce more buyers. Liquidity should be grabbed and price should close down as a bearish candle with either one or two candles breaking the low of the day. Then we can conclude that the US dollar will weaken against the Canadian dollar. On the Euro JPY, at the opening we can see the buyers in this zone, and the second half we can see the buyers slightly consolidating. Following from this, we expect a buy to sell. However, for a buy to sell to occur, the high of the day has to be raided to induce more buyers to take mammoth positions and for price to go against them, and this candle, which is this London candle, should close as a bearish candle and break this low, break this structure, break this low with either one or two candles for the euro to weaken further down against the Japanese yen. On gold, we can see the sellers in this zone and last sellers in this zone. Following from this, we expect a sell to buy. However, for a sell to buy to occur, the low of the day has to be raided to induce more sellers to the downside, accumulating contracts, and for price to buy further up. On GJ, we can see the buyers in this zone, and the second half we can see sellers. Following from this, we expect a sell to buy. However, for that to occur, the low of the day has to be raided to induce more sellers, and for this structure to break up, then we can conclude that the Great Britain pound would value against the Japanese yen. On gold, we can see a classic AMD. We have an accumulation, a manipulation, inducing more buyers to the upside and a distribution down. So we expect this low of the day to be broken, the structure to be broken. Then we can conclude that silver will rally further down. On DXY, at the opening we can see the buyers in this zone, and the second half we can see buyers. Following from this, we expect a buy to sell. However, for that to occur, the high of the day has to be raided to induce more buyers, and this structure has to break down with a
bearish sell candle, 1 or 2, and break the structure further down. On BTC USD, do this analysis on your own. Plan your trade, trade your plan, and most importantly, manage your risk and emotions.